Okay, let's think about what should go into the list of topics for my video documentaries for the YouTube. So let's see if I can remember some of the things I was thinking about. For a start, a review of what happened when I went through the evaluation process for the DBS. So that's part of that. Next, how about initial diagnosis, the different diagnostic processes, COVID. No, I can't think of COVID. I'm sure there were other things as well. Let's try to remember. Yeah, talking about memory loss in general and why I've used things like technology to try to compensate for apparent loss of short-term memory, which is continuing to get worse. There is also medium-term memory as well, but it seems that short-term is more problematic. It's probably some complex fluxion. Occasionally dropping out words, being unable to remember specific words or phrases. For example, there is a phrase I'm trying to remember. There's no something to do with punishment. Not punishment as its own word, no. Again, I can't remember, but yeah, it's really sick because I've even tried to remember that particular phrase. Let's see if I can remember it through reinforcement. It's a phrase which goes, yes, tat. Tat I can remember, T-A-T, which is the German for deed. No good deed goes unpunished. So I can remember it by coming at it from a different direction. Es gibt keine Tat, der unbestraft bleibt. If that's even the German for it. Okay, so that's another example of something which can go in. Other things that can go in, of course, plenty more. The different types of effects of Parkinson's on the mind and on the body. So I can go through various scientific research papers and identify what has been written or popularized versions. So I can look at the websites and say, okay, based on this, it appears that, for example, the mood is targeted or adjusted by reduction in dopamine. When the dopamine goes low, not much else goes high. For example, one of the things appears to be apathy, an increase in apathy, which is why it was so hard to get this started. But hopefully I can continue with the current level of apathy which I have and not increase it, because that would be a real pain in the butt. Apathy is an important characteristic because it stops you doing things. Also, joy comes out of your life when you can't feel that joy, and that's something which dopamine appears to be related to. So dopamine receptors, and I'll have to look this up, dopamine appears to be linked to a feeling of well-being and happiness. So basically that's why a lot of people with advanced Parkinson's look gloomy all the time, because they are feeling depressed because they're in a dopamine deficit. Phew, managed to get that one out. Okay, so we've got the effects of dopamine withdrawal. Yes, of course, I'll have to talk about the mitochondrial pathway. That's interesting in itself. And, oh, by the way, it's after 4 o'clock and now I'm getting tremor again, so time to take the next dose. So let's grab the pills. And let's look at the time. So I'm correct. Yeah, it's 4:17. So that's not too far off. Sleep. It has an effect on sleep, of course. Very complex. Okay, so I have taken 200 milligram capsules, hard capsules of levodopa with benserazide at 4:18 a.m. on Monday the 16th of August 2021. So there's a note for the file. That would be interesting. Turn this into a video on YouTube. And I know I can link it to some of the pictures which I've taken so that it'll be a kind of audio-visual presentation. But who wants to listen to me rambling? Well, maybe it will help someone, because that's the whole basis for doing this, to try to help people understand this very complicated disease. There's all sorts of interactions going on between the different parts of the brain and the body. It's hideously complex, and I certainly don't pretend to understand it, but I know that there are scientists who have studied this for years and years and years and still just digging into a tiny part of it. But thank goodness there are those people, and also thank goodness that there are foundations like the UK-based Parkinsons Foundation, and of course the Michael J. Fox Foundation in the US, both of which are very good at providing excellent sources of information as well as funding to those who are researching for a cure. It's not just about finding a cure, because there are multiple things which can be done. There is, of course, finding, well, let's see, maybe I can find something about this. Yeah, I'm going to cheat. Oh, I got a new subscriber. Person with Parkinsons has just subscribed to my channel. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you, person with Parkinsons. I very much appreciate that. So there is a video I was watching the other day which had some interesting things about not the medications, but the different ways in which Parkinson's could potentially be cured in the future. And yeah, there's a lot to learn about this. I can't remember the specific name. But I might have, because this is the sort of thing I would do, created a link and stored it in a Google Docs file, which incidentally I plan to release at some point. And this Google Docs file contains a Parkinson's section. And in that Parkinson's section, there's a whole section on light therapy, some general topics like blood pressure and memory decline, and even considering gastric reflux surgery. Maybe that's related. Melanoma, which is another topic to talk about in the future. Some books on food as medicine from a very dear friend who sent me a couple of great books, including Salvestrols by Brian Schaefer, Nature's Defense Against Cancer, and How Not to Die by Michael Greger. which seems to be a couple of wonderful titles. I also recorded some drug interactions. Apparently there's an interaction between levodopa oral and propranolol, so that's something to be aware of. It just says monitor closely. Significant interaction is possible and monitoring by your doctor is required. Levodopa oral increases effects of propranolol oral by added drug effects. So maybe it reduces the blood pressure too much. We'll see. Anyway, FTB treatment for Parkinson's disease. I don't think that was it. Research in the potential medication in Sweden. No, I don't think that was it. There's a long-term regenerative therapy. That wasn't it. There's a link between cigarettes and Parkinson's. Nope. Although that's something to talk about as well. Good old photobiomodulation. I'll be talking about that a lot. Light therapy. Russian breakthroughs. No, I don't think it was any of that. What it was a very senior researcher, a top researcher. So let's see if I can find this. UK Professor Parkinson's. And let's see if I can use this brain in a different way. Professor Richard Brown? No. Going through, and it certainly wasn't Professor Parkinson. Not Professor David Dexter. Because of the tremor. Professor, my hands are convulsing. Professor Richard Walker. Parkinson's. Consultant physician, honorary professor of aging and health with health interest in healthcare and the consultant, global award, international award. Let's see if there's something in YouTube videos. Aha. What is the relationship between aging? No, get rid of the ads. I don't want ads. Go away. What is the relationship between aging, frailty, and Parkinson's disease? That could be the guy. Wonder what else he's done. This Neurology Academy. Oh well, it's probably not going to be something I'll resolve tonight. Hang on. New developments and future treatments in PD by Dr. Anthony Lang. That's looking a little bit American. Yeah, Florida. No, this was definitely a UK guy. Top 10 questions on Parkinson's disease. Fixell Institute, US, I'm sure. So I'm going to do a search for UK. All right, UK Professor Parkinson. And I'm going to throw in cure just for fun. Will there be any effective treatments for Parkinson's in my lifetime? Parkinson's UK Research Director, Peter Jenner. That's it. Peter Jenner at King's College. Okay, I found it. Great. Hurrah. Okay, so and the title on this is When Will There Be a Cure for Parkinson's? This looks like not the right video, but similar. And Fitzwilliam College, Cambridge, How Can We Cure Parkinson's? Professor Peter Jenner at King's College London gives a unique overview of the science, which offers the potential for a cure or better treatments. Amazing. I found it. And I should subscribe to that because that's via Parkinsons UK. And, oh, the comments are turned off. Okay. So, what is Parkinson's? It's not just a movement disorder, not just a dopamine disorder, not just a brain disorder, not a static disorder. It's not a single disease. That's very interesting to note. So we know what it's not. We know which parts of the brain are affected, the substantia nigra, the pars reticulata, and the pars compacta seem to be linked to that. Oh, the hands are shaking quite badly now. The motor cortex, of course, is there implicated. I'll need to go into this in more detail in the future. I'm just scanning through the YouTube with the sound off. What can be done? This is it. Neurorestoration, restoring or reversing neuronal loss and function. Modification, we can slow the natural progression of Parkinson's. Or neuroprotection, stopping the onset of Parkinson's or arresting progression. Now, DBS does none of those things, so that's interesting. And also, I don't think he's referred to anything about the light-based therapy, so I'll have to think about what category that comes under. But what is interesting is this was from 2017, so it's 4 years old, and I'm sure the state of the art has proceeded since then. So I need to learn more, and thank you very much for your very kind attention. I hope the video is still running. Oh yes, 18 minutes worth. Thank you very much, and thank you, Professor Peter Jenner. It's 5:56 a.m. on Wednesday, It's 5:56 a.m. on Wednesday, the 25th of August, 2021. So, I was woken up around 4 a.m. with the tremor, and after a while I decided to take one Madapar as therapy because that's usually what is necessary. And unfortunately, I've been unable to get to sleep. I've had to get up to go to the loo. I took a look outside in the garden, so I went for a little walk, had a small snack to help the pill down, because I heard that food is good as long as it's carbs and not protein. And still the tremor persists after nearly 2 hours. So at this stage, I think the logical conclusion that I can draw is that the rate of progress or breakdown overnight of the levodopa tablets that I took last night is such that taking one in the morning isn't enough, because there's still a deficit, because I can, at least that's how it feels, So in fact, I should be taking 2 when I wake up in the morning rather than 1. And by wake up, I mean 4 a.m. wake up. So what information is missing from that? Yes, I'm sure there's something else to record. The time woken up, 2 pills taken, the feelings and symptoms, and of course recording this. Yeah, I did a lot of reading of the Daily Mail online and was mechanically going from headline to headline, reading the same thing again and again. So there's definitely some sort of mental characteristic that is not ideal when faced with this reduced amount of dosage in the brain. And that suggests that hopefully surgery may be a good option if it is intended to at least replace some of the capabilities. And, well, I guess we'll see. We'll find out when I hear back from the surgical team about when they can schedule me in for the waiting list, which currently suggests that it will be the end of this year, but after the way we see COVID going, it's hard to be sure. Maybe it will be next year. So, wishing you a happy new year. Yeah, I know it's premature. Let's hope that things continue and I am able to overcome this current situation. And one of the things, of course, I'm continuing to try is the light therapy, which I do on a regular basis, as prescribed by the therapists. And we'll see what results are. Thank you for your attention.